140 years they've been celebrating Memorial Day here in Sharpsburg, Maryland. We're at Antietam Battlefield. Brought to you by AreaCable.com and WashingtonCounty.com.
Thank you, Superintendent Howard, for the kind introduction. Mayor Spielman, Captain Case, Reverend Eichenberger, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to be here today at the Antietam National Cemetery Memorial Ceremony. Memorial Day is unlike any other. Since 1868, we have come together in our communities, our towns, to place flowers, flags, parades, wreaths, and listen to speeches for those of the armed forces who gave their full measure of devotion to our country. We come here today to remember and honor their duty as God allowed them to see that duty. And as always for a lot, this is a weekend for barbecues and get to the beach. But for veterans, active duty, and families who lost a loved one, we hold today as a special significance. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations, the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. I hope I didn't just re-enlist. This oath we took is the reason why we did what we had to do on a day-to-day basis, and this is why our men and women serving today are doing the same thing. Soldiers are defenders of the same principles that made this country great. They are patriots that protect the ideas and sentiments written in the Constitution of the United States, and we should always remember these words we took upon enlistment when we see our returning soldiers, a disabled veteran, or a grave marker. In the past, many soldiers have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and these Americans who died in these wars and more could be mentioned. They did their duty. We see this as we visit cemeteries and note their short lives on their headstones. We always hope and pray that we never engage in war again. But with this war on terrorism that is global, more and more of our soldiers will be protecting our freedom and paying the ultimate sacrifice. We must always teach our children the meaning of Memorial Day ceremonies. As Americans, we have a responsibility to support our men and women serving in the service of our country, no matter what decision is made by the Commander-in-Chief or our government. They have a right for our support.
There was an article in the newspaper called "Salute to a Memorable Marine." It starts, "The turnout seemed entirely fitting for a Marine who was described as the toughest guy in the house. More than 1,000 mourners..." Excuse me one second. I'm sitting here thinking my eyes are like they were when I was with the Marine Corps, and they're not. Pardon me. More than 1,000 mourners, from generals to civilians, packed the Naval Academy Chapel in Annapolis yesterday to honor Major Douglas A. Zembiak, who was killed last week outside of Baghdad. 5 hours later, after the sound of taps had faded over his coffin at Arlington National Cemetery, came what Zembiak, who was 34, might have considered the finest tribute of all time. About 40 enlisted men gathered under a tree, telling stories about their former commander. Some had flown from as far away as California, prompting one officer to observe, "Your men have to follow your orders. They don't have to go to your funeral." Mourners heard about Zembiak's family life, his wife of 2 years, Pamela, and their 1-year-old daughter, Fallon. On a note that he kept in the pocket of his uniform was written this: "Become the greatest husband and father ever." One of his friends who was eulogizing the Major said he read heavily from these notebooks that Mr. Zembiak kept. One of the quotes was particularly long, amounting to what was a summary of Zembiak himself. They read, "Be a man of principle. Fight for what you believe in. Keep your word Live with integrity, be brave, believe in something bigger than yourself. Serve your country.
Ready. Aim. Fire. Load.